Hello and welcome to the Hellraiser blog. Today's Hellraiser blog, we're going to look at Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder. If you enjoy the blog, please, as I was going to say before, hit the like and the subscribe button. And if you're wondering what this snazzy t-shirt is I'm wearing, it's a good friend of mine, David John. He's got a gym down in Swansea. If you're in Swansea, check his gym out. And he's just released a new design of boxing equipment, 4KT, 4 knuckle touch, and it's good gear. I've had a look at it. It's good. So good luck to him. Let's get on with this fight. Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder 3. I think pretty much everyone, if you're watching this channel, you'll know the fighters, and you probably think that you know the script for the third fight too. I mean, I actually thought that Fury won the first fight. It was close in some regards. Fury had a couple of heavy knockdowns against him. And so I could understand definitely the intrigue for the rematch. The rematch, Fury just walked through Wilder. He cut the ring off and absolutely smashed him. I mean, it's the only way you can put it. He just battered him, and it was a walk in the park for Fury. And I think that's why there's been a degree of apathy, if you like, when they announced a second rematch. Apparently, Wilder has a valid contract for this fight, for the second rematch, but it's one that at an earlier date they could have cancelled it. And I think if Fury, Arum, whoever it was that really wanted to make this happen, because there would have been a negotiation, you know, they could have offered money, like step aside money, which is often the case that is used in boxing when there's a fight that, because I think to sell Fury against Wilder for a third time is actually a hard sell. Wilder gets a couple of wins, he might then be able to go as an opponent for Joshua, which then might be easier to sell. But to go in against someone that's just beaten him so easily, I think that's a tough fight to promote. It's difficult to push it. I mean, there's a saying, they say you can't polish a turd. But I mean, when you look at this fight, you think that, well, Bob Arum's certainly giving it a very good go here, because, and this is a turd I don't think anybody wanted to see for a third time. And actually, I think this is a risky exercise for Fury. I do. I think actually it might be much harder the third time. Wilder has to change his tactics. That's 100%. He can't go the way he did last time. But I've actually met Wilder. I spoke to him. He isn't maybe the best person at expressing himself, but he's got a good boxing brain. He understands a lot of things, and I think there's far more to him than just being like this big punching crude slugger. I don't see him as that. Yes, some of his knockdowns, certainly the finishing, is very crude, but generally I found him to be very clever. He does a lot of things that go unnoticed. And if you go through my previous blogs on Wilder, some of those are the little tricks that he does, I think, have gone in, and the clever little things that he does to draw opponents in. And his best punch is overhand right. And he's shown already that he can hurt Fury. But I think if from a boxing point of view, maybe financially they didn't want to pay the payoff money, or maybe Wilder really fancies it, and therefore no matter what they offered, it wasn't going to be enough, or it was, you know, just definitely too much to offer. But when Fury isn't motivated, we've seen him against different opponents, even early on in his career. I mean, there was John McDermott. He boxed a lot better in the rematch, probably because he had the scare in the first fight. A lot of people thought he lost the first fight. Then you've got, I mean, Otto Wallin. You know, I mean, I know Otto Wallin's completely different to Wilder. He's a southpaw. What I noticed in that fight actually was Otto Wallin, he landed to the body. If you watch the fight, it's not a great fight to watch. Fury, like Wallin moves backwards, which Wilder won't. But the thing that I think is important and relevant to this fight is that he lands almost not quite at will, but frequently with solid shots to the body, to Fury. And if I was Wilder, that's what I would be trying to do. I think, look, Fury's head moves like this constantly. That's his head. It's moving around. If you're trying to land single shots, which Wilder does throw to the body, then to the head, and I think that's what he has to do if he fights Fury again. But he does use little tactics to get in close. But too often he was too wild. I think because the height differential and the reach caused him to get frustrated, Wilder, and he started looking very crude because he was just basically marching in trying to land his big shots on Fury, who seemed to be holding his chin quite high, but he has that reach and that radar-like jab that he walked Wilder onto repeatedly throughout the fight. Now, what I think he needs to do, if Wilder can do anything different, which he has to do, otherwise he just, same result again. I think he needs to get his feet in very close. He needs to be very sneaky with it, lots of feints, and also maybe catching punches as he comes in, so that he can get inside range and start to the body. Just ignore the head. If anything, punch to the chest, but I don't even think come upstairs at all. I think get inside, and once you're inside, start trying to work, and obviously keeping an eye for uppercuts coming from Fury, and Fury's going to be pushing his head down. If Wilder tries to come right in close, that's exactly what Fury, I expect him to do, is push down and to bring the uppercut up. But with the right kind of sparring, and Wilder has changed trainer. He was with Mark Breland, and he's I mean, I find it quite surprising that after getting so comprehensively beaten, you leave a master technician like Mark Breland and bring in someone who never cut it at a high level, Malik Scott. But maybe Malik Scott's a better trainer than he is a fighter. Who knows? Well, if he needs that opportunity to prove himself, he can get a better one than this, because if he pulls this off, everyone will be calling him Ring Magazine Managed Trainer of the Year and all this sort of thing. Fury, I just worry. I think if Fury thinks this is a done deal, it's just an almost like a marking time fight before I move back on to the Joshua thing. I think this could be a massive potential banana skin for him. John Fury, I watched an interview with him, Tyson's dad, who was saying, if I had any say in it, I would just say, there's your belt back, keep your belt. I'm going to fight Joshua anyway. I don't care about the belt. It seems, my guess would be that it's Bob Arum who called, because Bob had the opportunity. Bob's a lawyer, his trade by trade, and he had the opportunity apparently to end the contract with Wilder earlier, but he didn't do it by a specific date. I think it meant that the rematch became like mandatory. They had to have it unless Wilder decided to take step-aside money. I think it's a risk. Look, taking any British fighter to the US is a risk. How many British fighters have we seen not get a fair deal, either in the judging or the little sneaky jiggery pokery that exists in putting big fights together? And it's a risk. It's a risk to take Tyson Fury out there. It could jeopardise the Joshua versus Fury fight. Wilder's best shot is tight overhand right, and I've seen Fury. We've seen him both wobbled and decked. I mean, there's different things you could say. I mean, firstly, John McDermott, his tactic was to not allow Fury any breathing space. He literally cut the ring off right from the start. Well, we know from the success that Fury had in the previous fight, he's almost certainly going to be trying to do that to Wilder. So Wilder needs to anticipate those jabs coming to the chest, those sort of harder than usual power-wise punches from Fury, and he needs to slip and to counter very quickly. And I think the first shot's got to go at the body, probably the first two shots to the body, and then come up to the head. There's no point in throwing a headshot, gunning for Fury's chin, because I think at long range, now that we know that Fury's actually going to be pushing him onto the back foot, there's no way he's going to stand off him again because of what happened in their first fight when he did stand off. I'm certain Fury comes and looks to push as certain as you can be with Tyson Fury. I think he pushes Wilder onto the back foot from the start, and will look to try and get him out of there even quicker than last time. I mean, we saw in previous fights, we've seen Fury dropped from right hands, and bearing in mind that that's Wilder's best shot, you should avoid him. That's the simple truth. You should just, even if it costs money, I think if I had anything to do it, I would do my utmost to avoid. Right, the fight's happening. They're rolling the dice. I think if we can see Wilder successfully slip the jab and moving his feet quickly and close, I think this is a much harder fight for Fury than what he anticipates, and the people that are around Fury also. I think if I think he's really dicing with trouble here. I think Wilder will see it as his last roll of the dice. It was an easy fight last time for Fury. I'd like it to be again, but I really worry. I worry that he doesn't deliver his 10 out of 10 performance. If he takes his eye off the ball here, it could spell big problems. In terms of prediction, I'm going to go for Fury stoppage, and I think even quicker than last time. I think he'll stop him this time in about 4 rounds. Because I think I actually think Wilder will do what I'm saying he has to do. He will try and slip that jab and come inside and counter with shots to the body first, then the head. My worry for him, though, is that I think Fury actually is very skillful at counteracting. Obviously, people that see him, he's always got a reach advantage, and people do try and cut the space down. Fury's very experienced at that, and I think he'll deal with Wilder by pushing his head down until the space opens up for the uppercut, and probably be an uppercut and straight punches straight after to keep Wilder back on the back foot. And I just don't see how Wilder can overcome what Fury eventually will do to him. But if he lands that one shot, I mean, I won't bet on this fight, I can tell you that much. I definitely will not be betting anything on this fight, either the rounds or the winner or anything. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole, because I think there'll be no value in Fury winning inside distance, and I think there's a huge potential banana skin here, and one certainly from a management point of view that I would have avoided. I wouldn't have gone with this. Obviously, easy me saying that. It's not me that has to pay the step aside money. We'll see. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the blog, please hit the subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love reading them. I really get a lot of inspiration from those, so please do it. And I'll see you in the next Hellraiser blog. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.